What's up, y'all? Hey, man, this is a video that I've been wanting to put out for some time now. Excuse me. Still fighting a little bit of this cold. I'm over here in Lodi, California, parked at the Loves across from the Flying J. I had a deal I was dealing with my company. They had me bring a load down from Boise, Idaho, down to San Jose, California. And my thing to them was, hey, no problem. I don't have a problem running that load. It's cool. But check this out. If I run that load, y'all gonna have me a load going from, San Jose or what have you, heading back south. Because I ain't running that load all the way from Boise, Idaho, or Kuna, Idaho, all the way down to San Jose. And then I know you ain't expecting me to use my gas money and then head all the way home. Where I was at over in San Jose at the time, it was probably about 426 miles or something like that. And I was like, oh, no, they ain't dead heading that far. Nah, man, you must be crazy. That ain't happened. So they was like, yeah, no problem. We'll definitely make sure that we have you a load that takes you from the area that you in back down south. There's a truck passing by. And I was like, all right, cool. So right now, I'm waiting on a driver to come and drop his load off. We're gonna swap loads. I'm gonna give him my empty trailers, already clean. 2 load locks in the rear already. Everything's locked up, waiting on him. So he's supposed to be here probably later on this evening, 5:30, 6 o'clock. He's bringing a load down from Oregon. That load has to go to, I think Santa Fe Springs or something like that, which ain't too far from my house. I'd rather dead head from that area home than from here home with no load. Ain't gonna get paid on it. Video right here is a video that I've been like waiting to put together. And this video is about the companies I've driven for since I came into this trucking industry. I never had a problem with someone going back and saying, I seen this driver drive for this company. It was Mr. Miles or Willie D or whatever. He made a mistake. He hit somebody. He cut somebody off. We're gonna report him to the company. I ain't never had that issue, man, because I'm out there driving. I'm safe. I drive for people around me as well as myself. And I'm respectful enough to know that I want to get back home to my family, and I want these drivers around me, 4-wheelers and 18-wheelers, to get back home to their family as well. So this video right here is going to be about the trucking companies I've driven for and which ones I like the best. And at the end, at the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you guys, I'm going to share with you guys, I was debating, I'm going to share with you guys who I drive for right now. Now, let me put this disclaimer out right now. All right, you read disclaimer. Excuse me. I don't want to hear nobody coming over here where I'm at, talking junk, hating it, or I don't want to hear none of that. I'm just gonna tell you now. Like I said in my other video, what works for me may not work for you. All right, I'm doing stuff that works for me. Like when I researched these companies and everything worked, and sometimes it didn't work, and you're gonna find out about it right now. So let's dig into it. The first company I drove for, new driver, Knight Transportation. Have no problem with Knight at all. Knight's a mega carrier. The people there, they treated me very well. I was comfortable. They kept me moving. They noticed that, this guy does not like to sit. He'll use his recaps. He'll take a load, whether it be a reefer load or a drive-in load. If it's heavy or light, he'll do it. Knight was the very first company that gave me the opportunity right out of trucking school to drive for the fleet. I like night because one, they were right there in Fontana, California, which was probably 46 miles away from my house. I had a place to park my truck. They had ample yards throughout the nation. One thing I like about them, especially in the Phoenix office, you got a badge. You can use your badge to get into the office where your DMs and dispatchers and managers and stuff are at. You can go in there and talk to them. After a while, they get to know you because you've been in there so many times. You know, I like that. You know, that was a true open door policy to me. The one thing that I really don't like about them is their pay scale. They have this pay scale that you make so many cents per mile. You know, if you run 0 to 200, you make this cents. You run from 200 to 300, you make this cents. 300 to 400. I like a company that offers straight miles at a time. You know, you bring me on board, you pay me 49 cents a mile, and that's loaded, and you might pay me 42 cents a mile empty or something like that. I like that. Okay, good company to work for. Next company after that, I know this is gonna mess y'all up. It's gonna mess y'all up. The next company I drove for was Ideal Transportation. Check out this picture. Yep, this is the company right here that got me into the curtain side, the step deck game. And let me tell you, Ideal Transportation was the company that had the small fleet that I was working for. But guess who they were under? Landstar. I drove for Landstar. So I'm gonna tell you this right here, Kevin Leake. I'm sorry, bro, I didn't get back to you. But Kevin Leake, if y'all don't know who Kevin Leake is a good dude. I asked him a lot of questions. He answered all my questions. The brother is knowledgeable. He knows what he's doing. Okay, so I drove for BCO over at Landstar. I was driving cents per mile, and I was making very good money. I'm gonna tell you, the process to get into Landstar, it take a long time, man. Golly, man, it took me almost 3 weeks. But once you in there and you get through their hiring process, and they can be a little picky and sticklers on some things, but let me tell you what, they on their game. If you're a good driver, you ain't taking no shortcuts, you know, you ain't doing stuff you don't supposed to be doing, Landstar is a good company. I tell you right now, that's where I'm going back to. When I get my truck, I'm going back to Landstar. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm going back to Landstar. Okay, so yeah, so I drove for Ideal Transportation / Landstar. So what happened is, when I started applying at different jobs and they were looking at my resume or my history, they said, hey, we don't see Ideal Transportation. They say, we see Landstar. I was like, oh yeah, Ideal is up under Landstar. So they were like, okay. So basically everybody was like, man, you know, if you went through the process and got approved at Landstar to drive their trucks, to work for Landstar, you gotta be clean. I was like, I keep my record clean. So I drove for Landstar. I had no experience on step deck work or securing freight. So my move was, I was like, I want to get into flatbedding or step deck work because I know it pays well. There was a few companies I looked at. Central Oregon, the guys with those light green trucks. I looked at them, but then I was like, man, I don't know about Tarpon or Lowe's, man. I don't know about that. And the pace seemed like it wasn't there. I looked at TP Trucking. At the time, TP was like, oh, you know, we don't want to hire no truckers. And because you stay where you stay, you're close to LA, we want our trucks in a safer area. Nah, we're gonna have to bypass you on this time. I was like, okay. But what I was doing was I was trying to find a company who was gonna train me and teach me how to operate straps and give me training on the weight and how to secure them and belly wrap and how to use chains and binders and snap binders and ratchet binders. Who's gonna teach me? So I found out Landstar not only has a fleet of flatbeds, step decks, dry vans, but they also have training, a plus. So guess what? I contacted Ideal. Ideal said, yep, we'll definitely hire you. I told them I had no experience on step deck work. They said no problem, we'll sign you up with our company to get you into training. So I went through orientation over at Landstar, and after the orientation was over, I rolled right into securement class. It was great. It was great. Direct securement, indirect securement. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it 100%. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Ideal Transportation, top-notch company. Ken over there is the owner. You got Cody over there, who's one of the DMs. I think he might be a manager now. You got Lou. I mean, so many people over there, man. They're good people. I'll come back to that company. I'm gonna come back to them. Landstar. Let me tell you, man. Landstar put me up into the hotel for orientation, free breakfast every morning, transportation back and forth, from the hotel to the yard over in Dallas Fort Worth, and it was great. It was great. I mean, it was great. Landstar, top notch. I gotta say they on their game. So let me move on to my third company. The third company I drove for was Selling Auto Transport. I always wanted to do something. I always wanted to do some work, stay active. I know you guys like, man, dude, you do all these hard jobs, dude. What's up? Well, Selling came along. Well, I found Selling because I called them a year prior because I wanted to haul cars. And at the time, they told me, no, we're looking for someone with at least 2 years experience. Can't bring you on board. It's an insurance thing. So I was like, okay. So the opportunity came around again. I called them up, asked them again. They said, yeah, are you sure it's something you want to do? I told them, yeah. They were like, okay. And this time when I called, I spoke to one guy in the office, Brad. Brad said, you know what, put me down as a reference. He said, so when you speak to the hiring manager, just say, I referred you. I said, man, I really appreciate that. It was good speaking to you. Thank you. So I put his name down. They gave me the opportunity. Let me tell you what. I drove down there. They put me in the hotel for 4 weeks, right? I was like, 4 weeks. I was like, dog, dude, that's a long time, man, for training. Let me tell y'all something. That ain't long enough for training, all right? Check out some of these pictures right here, man, that on some of the loads I did. Let me tell you, when I first got assigned my truck, it was an older Sterling 10-speed Boyston with a Boyston trailer. I wasn't happy at all with that truck. Nah, I wasn't happy at all. Haven't driven a 10-speed since truck driving school. I wasn't happy. The truck was old. Things didn't work. It smelled like burnt oil. I was like, who gonna have me come down and put me into something like this as a first impression? Let me tell y'all something right now. First impressions mean everything. If you go to a company and your intuition is punching you in the face and it's telling you pack up your stuff and leave, listen to it. I didn't listen to my intuition. I was like, oh, sorry, I get the training. They eventually put me into a new truck, in which they eventually did. The training was good. My trainer, amazing. My trainer was 27 years experience. That joker taught me how to load everything. What to look for, what not to hit, how to back up, how to go over stuff, how to secure stuff, how to make stuff fit. I mean, he showed me everything. That's why I never had an issue, never had a problem with loading cars. From day one, he was like, this is the first thing right here that shuts everybody down. And he said, it'll tell me if you really want to do car hauling. He said, the first thing we're going to do, that's a TV, is put this truck, the Chevy, in the number 1 position. It was a smaller Chevy, it wasn't too big. I said, okay. I'm thinking, just drive it up. He said, no, we got to back it up. I was like, okay. No, I said, how do I line her up and keep her straight? He said, remember how we parked the truck and I told you it's very important to ensure that your tractor is straight and in line with your trailer. I said, yeah. He said, this is why. He said, you got to make sure they straight. I said, okay. He said, on top of that, we got to line her up. He said, you're going to back her up. He said, you place your right hand on the top of that steering wheel. You don't move her left or right. He said, you reach out the window. You turn around a little back. He said, you follow her back all the way. He said, you don't look down. You look back. You guiding that truck from looking back and pressing your gas pedal. He also taught me how to feather the clutch and the brake by giving gas to accelerating the vehicle, but controlling my motion with my brake. That's why it became a little more easier to back different vehicles, whether it be in a stick shift or automatic, onto the truck. But it was just something with the company that put a bad taste in my mouth, and I was just like, I can't do this, man. I can't do this. This ain't how I was looking at things. So I was like, But out of all them companies right there, I think let me tell you what, I like car hauling. I do, but only if I can do long distance. But this is the thing. If you're ready to call your own shots, you need to be leasing your own truck. You need to purchase your own truck. You can't be a company driver. And where I was at, I was ready to be in control. And I think the Lord was just planning. He was preparing me for the next step, which is where I'm at right now. But out of them 3 companies right there, out of all them companies, the best company that I work for is Ideal Transportation, Landstar. I'm just gonna say it, hands down. Ideal Transportation, Landstar. That's step deck work. That's the best work. I'm just gonna tell you. I ain't even lying to you. Step deck, flatbed work. That's the best work. It's no lie. It's still rewarding. Like I said in my last video, when I was showing y'all, when I was talking to y'all about was the transition to flatbed and step deck work, was it worth it? And I told y'all, being able to secure your own freight, secure your own load, to make sure that it was immobilized, which is what they teach you at Landstar. Make sure it was immobilized, that it won't move. That's the best feeling in the world. I ain't even lying. It's the best feeling in the world. So hands down, step deck work, flatbed work, especially if you got a Conestoga trailer with a curtain side, the whole thing just slide back or opens up. You don't throw no tarps. I ain't throwing no tarps, man. I ain't got time for that. I enjoyed that work. Now, if you lazy, you hate climbing, you hate jumping down, you hate walking, then you know what? Car hauling and step deck work ain't for you. You know who you are. You know yourself. Don't just go for it for the dollars, because let me tell you what, that work gonna start beating up on your body, and you're gonna be like, I can't do this no more. And you're gonna have another L up under your belt because you done threw in the towel. If I had to go back to any of those jobs again, it'll definitely be step deck work. The loads I ran, man, they was not crappy, man. And get this, oh, well, none of them heavy, dude. I had one that was heavy. I had one load that was heavy, and it probably weighed 39,000 pounds. On top of that, at Landstar, man, you speak to agents, you speak to brokers. You know, when I went through training, the only thing I didn't go through was the load board training, but I did the webinar at my house for Landstar's load board, meaning I was able to put in loads, put in the radius, put in the type of freight I was looking for, whether it be in step deck, flatbed, dry van. The radius is where I was at, California, and let me tell you, it will go out and it'll find loads where you at. I'm gonna tell you what, that's the best thing. The load board ain't no joke. I'm just telling you, the load board ain't no joke. All right, so let me tell y'all who I run for right now, and I'm doing this because it's hard sometimes, man. I want to make videos, but you know, I'm tired of hiding who I work for. I'm tired of hiding the fact that who I'm leased on to and stuff like that. I don't want to hide that junk no more. So if you see my truck, if you see the company truck, because it's their truck, it has their tag, it has their name on it. You probably ain't gonna know it's me now unless you see my beautiful face, you know. But all right, check this out. Yep, that's my truck. I work for Giltner Inc. Giltner out of Jerome, Idaho. Giltner is a reefer company, produce company. We run I-5 corridor, the 11 Western, as well as other parts of the United States. We only go as far as, I would say, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee maybe. We ain't going northeast, we ain't going down to Florida now unless we have to, so we stay that way and we'll come back. For the most part, this company's been pretty good. It's out there. You guys know who I run for. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, from my start of the companies that I've driven for, from Knight, Ideal Transportation, or Landstar, Selling Auto Transport, which is now North American Auto Transport. I forgot to say, they got bought out by Jack Cooper Enterprises. So just so you know, nice, good company. Ideal Transportation is a good company. Landstar definitely is a good company, man. Selling is now North American Auto Transport. Giltner, top-notch equipment, new equipment, and they stuff seems to keep moving. My truck's 2019. You know, they gave me an opportunity to come on board as a lease operator, and I haven't been upset yet. All right, anyway, y'all, I'll cut this video. There you go. I put it out there, the companies I work for and who I work for now. You guys, man, make a sound decision, man, on these companies that you drive for. There are still great companies out there to start with, and there are great companies out there to lease on with. Any comments, any feedback is definitely welcomed. For each one, teach one. If God be for you, who can be against you? Nobody. Y'all take care. Bye.